spiritual master. Om Ajnanatimandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranams, Jai Prabhupada.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Okay, so let's bring up our screen number 2 and we'll bring in Bhagavad-gita on top of it. And whose turn is it to read? Neeral Prabhu, have you announced the reading order?
1 minute, Mataji. So I'm just adding Archana Mataji. Okay. So yeah, I'm posting the updated order. Order first is Vindyavali Mataji, Suttapa Mataji, Sukomal Radhe Mataji, Varshana Mataji, Simi Mataji, Sonia Mataji, and Archana Mataji. And then back to Vindyavali Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
And whose turn is it to read?
I think me.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Chapter 14, the three modes of material nature. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Text 1. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Text 2. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Hare Krishna, Sitapa Mataji.
Text 3. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the births of all living beings. O son of Bharata. Text 4. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Hare Krishna. Shukumani Radhe Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. Text 5. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Text 6. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reactions. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much, Mataji. Text 7. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity. Text 8. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness born of ignorance is the delusion of all embodied living entities. The result of this mode of madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. Hare Krishna, Simi Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Text 9. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to fruitive action, and ignorance covering one knowledge binds one to madness. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy.
Hare Krishna. Text 11, the manifestation of the modes of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Text 12, O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrollable desire and hankering develop. Hare Krishna. Archana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. Text 13. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Kuru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. Text 14. When one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure, higher planets of the great sages. Vindhyavali Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Garima Mataji joined. Mataji, Garima Mataji, can you read?
Okay.
Mataji, you guys continue.
Okay. Text 16. The results of pious action is pure and is said to be.
15, I think, right? No? Am I mistaken?
Yes, Mataji, it's text 15.
Text 15, yeah.
When one dies in the mode of passion, he takes birth among those engaged in fruitive activities. And when one dies in the mode of ignorance, he takes birth in the animal kingdom. Text 16. The result of pious action is pure and is said to be in the mode of goodness. But action done in the mode of passion results in misery, and action performed in the mode of ignorance results in foolishness. Hare Krishna Sudapa Mataji.
Text 17. From the mode of goodness, real knowledge develops. From the mode of passion, greed develops. And from the mode of ignorance, develop foolishness, madness, and illusion. Text 18. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets, and those in the abominable mode of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. Hare Krishna. Shukumal Radhe Mataji.
Yeah, thank you. Text 19. When one properly sees that in all activities no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Text 20. When the embodied being is able to transcend these three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Varshana Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Text 21. Arjun inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptom is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior? And how does he transcend the mode of nature? Text 22 to 25. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate elimination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the mode alone are active, who is situated in the self and regard alike happiness and distress, who looks upon the lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with the equal eye, who is equal toward the desirable and undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friends and enemies, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature. Hare Krishna. Simi Mataji.
One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus come to the level of Brahman. And I, the basis of the impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and eternal, is the constitutional position of ultimate happiness. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Reflection time.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Text 20 Mataji. It struck my mind today. It's very beautifully Krishna is quoting, like, if you want to get yourself free from, the cycle of birth and death, then you need to transcend the three modes of material nature, which is, very difficult for us right now. At least I can talk about myself. But by the grace of God, by the association of, Vaishnavas, by a continuous practice of our sadhana, maybe one day we can achieve those transcendental, qualities.
Very good. Yes, that's a good enough reason to continue our sadhana, right?
Yeah. And Mataji, I have a question also in this regard. In text 21, Arjuna is asking, how does he transcend the modes of nature? So he refers to the spirit soul, Mataji, or the material body, mind, and intelligence. I was just pondering on that.
Yeah, say that last part again. I just got distracted here. I think
No
something
problem. I'll say it again. Yeah. In text 21, Arjuna is inquiring Sri Krishna about, like, the one who transcends the modes of material nature. So who is this he? He is the living entity, or is he the material body, senses, intelligence, and all?
Krishna always refers to he to be the soul.
But Mataji's soul, isn't it transcendental, because it is the part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is transcendental. So I was like confused.
But the soul thinks he's the body, right?
Okay, it refers to the embodied soul.
Embodied
okay,
soul,
okay, Mataji. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, just give me a second here. I'll have to. Something has gone wrong here. I don't know. Okay, never mind. That's fine.
Mataji, can I tell something?
Yes, please. Yeah, while I'm struggling with this technology over here. Yeah.
There is a word like 22 to 25 that Krishna told to treat that friends and enemy in the same way. So Mataji, I don't know, I could be wrong. So like enemy, whom we can tell enemy, because for me, if nobody is doing any harm, and until my life is not in danger, so we cannot call enemy.
Good question. This Yudhishthir was referred to as Ajat Shatru. So that means that he doesn't have any enemy, right? And then a person will say, how come he doesn't have an enemy? What was the big war of Mahabharata all about if he didn't have an enemy, right? So what happens is other peoples can be inimical to you, right? They will be a devotee, even though a person is behaving inimical, and inimical doesn't necessarily mean only that only a person is going to harm you physically. You can do animosity in so many ways. Now I'll ask the class to tell me how are different ways in which people can express that they're inimical to you. Give me a few things. We do that all the time. At least I do it.
Exhibit an animosity. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. That they are your enemies.
They may be envious of us, and that's how it may come across, that they are being rude and
see. So if somebody has got bad feelings for us, right, has got is an enemy at heart. So one thing is they can come and kill us, right? The enemies kill you. Go war, enemies kill you. So we usually understand that. But what I'm asking is that what are the other ways also in which one can express inimical behavior?
Mataji, one can jeopardize your career because of the animosity.
Yes, yeah.
And it seems like they defame you.
They can defame you, right? So you got your own answer down that line, right? They can say bad things about you. They can be rude. They can give you a smaller portion when giving you prasadam. Only 2 chapatis for you, everybody gets 3. There are so many ways and they can express inimical behavior towards you like that.
It can happen also, Mataji.
Why can it not
This thing?
happen? Why can it not happen? You are reading the modes of material nature, how they act upon a person, right? Who do you know what's going on, right? Apichet sudaracharo, but you have to think like that, right? So people do that. I mean, even inside a home, people can, behave inimical to you. You're getting angry at your spouse, so fine, you put some extra salt in the food that day. There's so many ways in which you can be inimical.
So basically, you're not showing it verbally, but you're doing it by action, that you're angry with that person.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes you can do animosity in the sweetest of the manner. I remember I had my sister had a friend, and I think she's listening. She will remember that we were all very, very young, like in the 20s, early 20s, and getting married and learning how to adjust in a new family with the mother-in-law, brother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, and, husband, of course. And so whenever we would collect, we will all discuss the sufferings we were undergoing in the new home. That was a very normal topic to discuss. So this girl came and said that her mother-in-law was a very strict lady. She was known to be very strict, even to her own children. She was very strict what to talk about her daughter-in-law, like that. So she would, like, whenever she had to catch a train in the morning, then she would ask her daughter-in-law that, will you please make some food for me, to pack food for me to take to the train. Now, those were the days not when we'd had induction heaters and cooking ranges and things like that. You had to, and lighters also were not there. Gas lighters were not there. So if you were lucky enough to have propane gas in your home as a fuel for your food, you still need a matchbox to light the stove. And so the mother-in-law used to keep the matchbox with her.
My God.
And the mother-in-law would be so scared in the morning, and she would think that I have kept them, So people can express inimical behavior in so many ways, like that. So when you're talking about a devotee and he treats a friend and an enemy alike, it's not that from his perspective, he's looking at as this is my friend and this is my enemy. This is very important to note. He's not looking that this is my friend and this is my enemy and I have to behave equally to them, right? He's looking at, when people are behaving in an inimical order, behavior way with him, or somebody is behaving in a friendly manner with him, to both of them, his behavior will be the same. He will still speak politely. He will still smile. He or she will still smile, like that. It's not that in their mind they are saying that both are equal. They're not thinking like that, but their behavior will be the same. Because for the one who is being inimical, they're just thinking like, oh, goodness gracious, this guy is on the wrong path, because we have said anger is not good, right? In Bhagavad-gita, everywhere it says, when you have anger, then that's your fall down begins, like that.
Mataji, like you mentioned right now, there are ways in which people can show their inimical behavior to others. But what about those people who have, very bad thoughts about the others, like devotees or anyone, XYZ? So in that ways, what should be the, course of action of a devotee? Because though he's not telling, he or she's not, expressing through his or her actions, but from his mind, that negative thoughts is constantly flowing for the other person. In that ways,
the other person will never know.
That is also there, Mataji. Like some ways, like diplomacy also is there, right? Some people in your front, they'll say very nice words to you, but at the back they'll backbite about you. So in that case, how to handle that kind of situation?
Again, if they are backbiting behind your back, then it is behind your back, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the same, right? If a person is behaving as like, one way, another way, Mr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of a personality, then again, you just see that this is inimical behavior, but my behavior towards them will be the same. I will behave in my dignified manner in which I behave, because I'm a devotee. I'm representative of Krishna.
Like Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Meera.
So it's very subtle, actually.
Yes,
when you are saying enemy, to me it was black and white. I thought, oh, it doesn't even apply. I thought of enemy like wars and fighting, or somebody really hates you and never talks to you again. In my life, I don't come across that. Like, it's very subtle. Like you said, we won't even know that the other person is talking ill about me or anything. But just today, I was feeling a little irritated at few people in my mind, just irritated. And then for no reason or for some thoughts, I went back in life. So I was just wondering, it doesn't, to me, it doesn't seem enemy. Like I don't feel like I'm an enemy towards them.
Yeah.
So
what, and your question is that what?
So the definition of enemy, is it all including ill feelings or temporary of bad negative thought may come? Is it that?
No, an enemy is a more stronger word. And there are lots of our kids can irritate us, don't they?
Yeah.
Right, but they're not our enemies. We don't feel cynical towards them. And so that behavior that you said was covered in verse number 15, where it said Yasman no dujite loko, loka no dujite ya, in chapter 12, not here. Right? In chapter 12, we were talking about the behavior of a devotee, and they said that a devotee who is not agitated by what others do. And so while you were saying that I do not know why, but I felt irritated. Now, it's not that we feel irritated at somebody for no reason. So let's go and look deeper into why do we feel irritated with somebody?
Because things are not in our way, or of the past event didn't go favorably.
So why do we, okay, so why would an incident be unfavorable to us? Or in which, what would happen?
It doesn't meet.
It doesn't what?
Yeah, I was going to say that when it doesn't meet our expectations.
Right. When it doesn't meet your expectations. So you see the original karana, adi karana. So the original cause of that irritation is our own desire to have a particular person behave in a particular way because we are little controllers. You want to control how Suttapa scratch her nose. I want to have a say. Why did she do that? What is she doing? Why is he doing that? Why is Bashana raising her hand? Like that, you know. Go ahead, Bashana. So root cause is the soul. The soul desires, and then the root cause of everything is the soul.
Yes, Mataji, I fully agree with you. I mean, whenever there is any discussion, you see, between husband and wife or children and mother or father, anybody. So, Mataji, most of the time, the problem is your own desires, your own way of doing things. Actually, I personally have started feeling after reading Bhagavad-gita and after realizing this, that I am enemy of my own self. Nobody else is an enemy.
Actually, mind, yeah. Our mind is our enemy. Our biggest enemy is our mind, yeah. Yes, good realization. You are applying Bhagavad-gita. Very good. So you see, we are surrounded by enemies. Our mind is the biggest enemy. So let's bring up a verse from Bhagavad-gita that will. And whose turn is it to read?
It's mine, Mataji.
It's yours. And are there any newcomers who are going to read today?
Namasya Mataji said she wanted to read.
She wanted to read. Can we add her?
I heard she didn't want to read it.
I can also read, Prabhuji.
Wow. I'll have to bring her.
Yeah, after a long time, I'm attending the class, feeling so blissful.
Fantastic. Okay.
This is Shruti Priya Mataji.
And you also would
read
like
as
to
well? Yes, please.
Okay. So, Neeral Prabhu, are you in a condition to read too?
Yeah, I'll read you the order actually I had done on my phone. Yeah, I'll post it in a few
All right.
minutes.
But let's go ahead with, yeah, who's next? The newcomer? Sonia? Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Mataji, is it 6.5?
Yes. I want to do both 5 and 6. Yeah.
Are we not doing 12, Mataji? 12 point something.
No.
Okay.
She asked a question about mind. So I'm just
Okay.
answering that with the word. We are in the discussion portion. We are in the reflection part of the class. We already did 14, which is what we are doing. Ekadashi class.
Okay, Mataji. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, and I just brought 15 because I was trying to explain,
Udharit Atmana Tmanam Natmanam Natmanam Avasadhyet Atmeva He Atmano Bandhur Atmeva Ripur Atmanaha. Hare Krishna, and it's Archana Mataji.
Okay, so we're not going to do the synonyms, but I want all of you to just focus on the screen and tell me what is the Sanskrit for enemy.
Ripu.
Ripu,
Ripuha.
exactly, for 50 points. Okay, then now who's going to go next and give me the translation?
Yeah, it's me, Mataji, my turn. Translation, one must deliver himself.
Hold on, Archana. Any newcomers were there to read or no? Everybody?
Mataji.
Supriya wanted to read, no? Oh, yes.
Hey, Mataji. After Archana Mataji.
Me, Mataji, after me.
Okay. Everybody's there? Okay, good.
Okay. Translation, one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Hare Krishna. Garima Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, now look what the purport Prabhupada is saying in the purport. The very first sentence is very important.
The word Atma denotes body, mind, and soul, depending upon different circumstances.
Did you know that?
No.
Did you know that? No, right? Yeah. See here, Prabhupada is giving valuable gems to us. Yeah. Okay, go ahead, Matri. Sorry.
In the yoga system, the mind and the conditioned soul are especially important since the mind is the central point of yoga practice. Atma refers here to the mind. The purpose of the yoga system is to control the mind and to draw it away from attachment to the sense object. It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nescience. In material existence, one is subjected to the influence of mind and the senses. In fact, the pure soul is entangled in the material world because the mind is involved with false ego, which desire to lord it over material nature. Therefore, the mind should be trained so that it will not be attracted by the glitter of material nature, and in this way, the conditioned soul may be saved. One should not degrade oneself by attraction to the sense object. The more one is attracted by sense object, the more one become entangled in material existence. The best way to disentangle oneself is to always engage the mind in Krishna consciousness. The word he is used for emphasizing the point. That is, that one must do this. It is also said. Next one can read.
Okay, now before we go to the next part, I just wanted to ask you what do we read this, right? Oops.
So the conditioned soul can be saved only when mind is not engaged to other activities.
Yeah.
And not attracted, so it will not be involved with false ego, and then the desire to lord it over material nature will not come, and then only the conditioned soul can be saved.
Yeah. So if you look at the text that is highlighted, what does it say?
It is stressed herein that the mind must be so trained that it can deliver the conditioned soul from the mire of nescience.
What is the mire of nescience? What do you think is mire? What do you think is mire?
The web of ignorance, a darkness, the web of darkness.
Mire.
Dirt of ego.
The dirt of ego?
Mire is like entanglement, right?
Yeah, entanglement. मोहजाल जिसे बोलते हैं हिंदी में.
मोहजाल बोलते माया को? Yeah. So Maya has got two meanings, and both of them are actually applicable in this way. The first way, as you said, that Maya is a complicated situation, and that, like you said, it's a web. So something which is very complicated, entangling. And the second meaning of Maya is As you know, in the English word, dal dal. You know what is dal dal?
Yes,
Stuck in the mud.
Okay, what happens in a dal dal?
You get stuck in the mud.
And then when you try to get
It
out, what
pulls
happens?
you in.
You get more and more inside.
Exactly. Now, does it remind you of something?
Yes.
So that is why this material world, they're saying that if you try to, just as in a mire, if you fall into a mire and you try to hold on to the other things and try to get out of it, try to catch on, then you will sink even deeper inside, right? Only somebody from up there, from the air, if it comes and pulls you out of the mire, then you will be pulled out. Similarly, here in this material world also, if we make use of the material energy to, try to make life much better here, that's not going to happen. It's only going to, make it more complicated for you. And if somebody from outside, like a spiritual master or some other devotee comes and pulls you out of this mire of nations, then it's easy for you to get out of that. And so I just wanted to bring this up because Meera Mataji has said that I don't know from where something had happened such a long time ago that this came, right? This thought came and irritation thought came. So this is what the mind does. Everything is going nicely with you. And then mind will pull some thought from the database and present it to you. And now your choice is to be irritated with that or not. That choice is the soul's choice, right? So with the help of intelligence, the soul can decide. And that comes from practice. As Archana was saying in the beginning, it's a practice thing. You have to constantly practice. Next time when you see that irritated thoughts coming, when you see that irritation taking over your body, then remember this class. And then go and say, okay, I'm not this mind, I'm not this thought, I'm nothing to do with this. By the way, whatever happened in the past is gone in the past. There's nothing I can do about it. I can only spoil my afternoon by having, thoughts of resentment or irritation or whatever. Vaishana Mataji is smiling.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji. Mataji, I have realized this, my life's experience. But in Punjabi, one thing is said, Mataji, mitti pao. So whatever, if something happens, and I say, chodo yaar, jane do. One thing, I use this word a lot, and then my mother's word, I remember, mitti pao. Leave it, let it go.
So you know what is the meaning? What is the meaning of? You have to explain to us what is the meaning of mitti pao.
Mitti pao means, Mataji, let it go to hell. These whatever somebody has said, put it in the dustbin and throw it away.
See, mitti pao means mitti pao means to bury that thought. Right?
Bury that thought.
When somebody dies, you put them inside the earth, and then everybody puts a little bit of mitti, right? Mitti pao means mitti dalo in
right.
What they're saying is whatever the thoughts are coming, you dig a hole and then put that bad thought inside it, and then mitti pao, like seal it so it doesn't come out.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but what devotional service does, like even sometimes the dead bodies come out of the grave, right? If there's an earthquake, they will come out of the grave, right? So dead bodies can come out of the grave. So similarly, thoughts which are buried can come out. So it's only karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. It's only devotional service that can burn these kind of things to complete, ashes. All these thoughts of resentment and anger or lust, everything combined. Can be destroyed only by one thing. Vishaya vinivartante nirharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. So it says that when you develop a higher taste, then the lower taste will automatically go away. And what's the lower taste? The lower taste is somebody did something to me and I'm going to show them, this is a lower taste, right? And the higher taste is somebody did something, you just feel sorry for them because they are the ones who are spoiling it for themselves. They are the ones who are going to get the karma. And this is also a very important aspect to think about forgiveness and reacting and taking, revenge, is that when somebody behaves in a bad manner towards you, and if you say that this is just my karma and, just tolerate it and get out of it, then it's good. And what's the good that happened? That there was some karma there in your little pot of karma and bad karma, and you exhausted it. Right? Somebody was supposed to behave badly to you, and that thing happened. And no matter how bad you felt inside, but you did not react. So that bad karma is now gone, right? But if you give it back to them, then what has happened is now you have become part of the chain reaction. They give it to you, you give it to them, then you'll get it back. In that little video that I showed you about karma, this was a very nice thing of how, what we say, what is karma? What goes around comes around. And he gave a very nice example of what goes around comes around. He said that there was a man, and he was in a orchard, in somebody else's orchard, and he saw a very beautiful red, ripe, juicy, red and yellow or mango on the tree. So he saw it. His eyes saw that mango, and of course he wanted it. So he what then is do? So now look at teamwork over here. So the eyes presented that information to the mind. Mind presented that image to the intelligence. Intelligence said that this is somebody else's orchard. I should not be taking that mango, or maybe I should. Confused. And then the soul just made the decision. Let's have it. We're going to enjoy it. And so it started with the eyes, and through the mind and the intelligence, it went to the soul. Soul said, let's have it. And then conveyed that information all the way to the senses. So then your karmendriya, the working senses, your legs went and plucked, and climbed the tree, and the hands plucked the mango. And then, but what happened? They plucked the mango and gave it to the mouth. The mouth ate the mango and, put it on the tongue. And then finally the tongue swallowed it and it went to the stomach. And while all this was happening, the gardener came. And he saw that this man had stolen. He was eating a mango. It was in his hand. So then he took a nice little rod and a danda stick, and he beat him. So, and where did he beat him? He beat him on the back. Now you see, the eyes started it, but ultimately one might think that the rod is falling on the person's back. What did the back have to do with it, right? But then when the rod fell in the back, he was hurt, and then the tears started coming from his eyes. And this is what it is. Who had seen the mango in the first place? The eyes. So it's a nice way of telling you, nice way of telling that how these karmic reactions will go. And they can come back in so many different ways. That's why 4.17 of Bhagavad-gita says it's very difficult to understand what karma is. Akarma, nikarma, niskam karma. And what is dharma, what is adharma, right? I mean, there's Krishna blatantly telling Yudhishthira to speak a lie. And anybody who's in the mode of goodness will be horrified by that. So you have to transcend that, even the mode of goodness, the three modes that we talked about today, transcend that mode and enter into the transcendental mode, where you are saying that if Krishna, the Lord, is going to come and tell me, I will do it, no matter what. And that's the plight of Arjuna also, right? He was refusing to fight, and then he fought. No matter, whatever was good or whatever was bad. So what exactly is dharma is something that only Krishna can tell us, right? And on that thought, let's go and take the verse for today. Unless you have
12:20.
Unless you have a desire to ask more questions.
I have one question, sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
So Mataji, as you said, like if Krishna said to Arjuna, like, okay, you need to fight, and he did, or he told Yudhishthira to say a lie, and he, I don't know what the story is, but anyway, so we are not where Krishna will tell us, then what do we make of it? How do we know whether it is, are we doing it right or wrong? Exactly. Or Krishna telling us to do it, is that right? But because I am so fallen that how will I get the message from Krishna?
Exactly right. So let's take a few steps back and see that if you get $1 million and you have to invest it somewhere, it's $1 million. And so, but you don't know anything about investment. So where do you go? What would you do?
You go to somebody who's knowledgeable about it.
Right? Similarly, here also, since Krishna is not telling us, and he does speak from within the heart, he speaks to us, but sometimes we are not listening to him. But if we don't understand, then we will also go to somebody who is knowledgeable about what is right, what is wrong. And that is what is known as a bona fide spiritual master. So you go to a spiritual master, and then Tadvidi paripatena pariprashnena sevaya upadeshyanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. So it says that, first you go and serve the spiritual master and ask your questions humbly. Ask your questions humbly, and then, they will be happy with that, right? And humbleness, when you ask a question with a sincere desire in your heart to get a proper answer, when you ask that question, they will give you the answer. Why and how? Because they have seen the truth. They know what the truth is. We might not know. Like if I have not been to Hawaii, I can't tell you what Hawaii is. Anybody who's been to Hawaii can tell you. Similarly, the spiritual master, they are at a higher level of consciousness. They'll be able to tell us what to do. And I can only tell you from my having spent like 6 decades on this planet is that, things that bothered me a lot when I was 20, when I look 20 years old going through that cycle, I'm just laughing and I'm like, all right, you're just 40 decades away from peace, from those kind of situations, and not letting those situations bother you like that. So those who are experienced, they'll be able to guide you. And of course, those who are pure, they'll be able to guide you. But you have to go to somebody who's bona fide. So, and that is a difficult thing, because in this age and stage where everything is so artificial, right? Everything, that it's very difficult to know who's a bona fide spiritual master, right? So we should pray to Krishna to guide us towards a proper spiritual master. Like, Krishna, you don't talk to me. Either you come and talk to me or you send me. Please, 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 please send me. We can't demand him. But we can humbly ask him to give you guidance. And they'll give us spiritual master. I mean, I still remember when I was reading the Bhagavad-gita here, and when I first got it in my hands, and Prabhupada was almost from every other purport, he was saying, get a spiritual master. And I was like, where will I find a spiritual master in this country? Why did I come here? And then I did not even know that my spiritual master had actually been living 7 miles away from where I live for the last 11 years. And I'd never been there. I had gone there to meet friends in that area, but never gone, just like 1 lane away, I had been there, not knowing. But then when this desire started coming in my heart, right, without even asking Krishna in so many ways, like I was not praying to Krishna in so many ways, but that desire was there. Where will I find? Where will I find? And then I found in 2 years, I found spiritual master. So if you have that desire, then Krishna will arrange it for you. He sees that. Bhavgrahi Janardana is Bhavgrahi Janardana. Now, Shana Mataji wants to share something.
Yes, no, I want to ask a question, Mataji. Sometimes your bona fide spiritual master is far off, or you cannot get he's too busy, and writing to him also, you see, sometimes becomes problem. You see, he has so much to do. So that is why, is it the devotees, those who are like your Shiksha Gurus, they are also bona fide, no, Mataji? So we can ask them also.
Absolutely. A spiritual master is a spiritual master. They come in varieties, right? There's the one who shows you the path, and then there are the ones who teach you, and then there's the one who initiates, right? And you'll get knowledge from all of them. Actually, Shastra says that there's no difference between your Shiksha Guru and your initiating Guru. But when you just also don't go and take any Shiksha Guru, because there could be subtle differences, and then you can get confused in the way your spiritual master presents. So if a person has taken initiation and because of time, place, and circumstance, geographical distance or business of the spiritual master, or spiritual master traveling, sannyasi spiritual master travels, right? Even non-sannyasi also travel. So they're traveling and you're not able to make connection, then the proper way is you should approach your spiritual master and then tell him that, for example, I'm living here in Pune, and can I take this person as my spiritual master, as my Siksha Guru? And then you have to take permission to do that, because sometimes the mood can be different, the attention to details could be different, the level of strictness can be different, right? For example, some spiritual masters might say that you have to chant 64 rounds. Right? And your spiritual master might say that no, 16 is good enough. Now you are taking 16 instruction from him, then you take up any Siksha Guru and he tells you 64. Now you are confused. What should I do? Right? So the best thing to do is to be very judicious in your choice, in your first choice of, who you take diksha from, who is initiating you, right? Is getting you started. And then under his guidance, you can take, more guidance from others. But that's the proper way to go.
Mother, your own God sister or God brother, they can guide because they will have the same way of thinking, because Guru has initiated both of them. And the learning with the God sister is, or God brother is better to take instruction from her or him.
Generally, yes.
Will that
unless
serve them?
yeah, generally yes, unless the God brother and God sister has gone and is hearing from everywhere and anywhere and everywhere, right? You don't know. So again, if you want to take, a God brother or God sister as a mentor for you, and you should take permission from your spiritual master, because you never know. You never know. You also, your God brother and God sister also you see only from outside, right? They could
I
be.
remember, Mataji, once I asked Guru Maharaji something. That was I had written to him, and he immediately responded and said, "You can ask Shraddha."
Yeah, see, so he gave you the instruction.
This was his answer. Yeah. So this was his answer. I mean, point blank, nothing. You see, straight away he wrote, "You can ask Shraddha."
Yeah. So depends. They know a person's availability, the mood, and relationship. He knows my relationship with you, like that, right? He might not recommend me to everybody.
Correct.
So that's why I said that you should go, right?
So,
my personality might not match. Yeah. My cultural background might not match with somebody. My age might not match with somebody. My taste, my likings, my opinions might not match with, because he'll have different disciples of all different varieties and kinds and cultural background.
So since then, Mataji, this 7-8 years ago, this Guru Maharaji answered me, and then since then, I don't go to anybody else except you. I just ask you, and I'm satisfied.
I'm glad.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's coming from Guru Maharaj. I just repeat whatever he says. It's safe. It's better I don't use my mind, and especially when I've already exhausted it by this time of the day. In the nonsense that I do the whole day at work. This and that. Yeah. So what should we do now? We are 10 minutes away from my next meeting.
Mataji will read the verse and sloka and then discuss a little bit.
I'll take that as an order and I'll go there into.
No, Mataji, it's a request.
There you go. Whose turn is it? Have we lost track, or are we still there?
After me, Shruti Priya Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, sorry, Priyanka Mataji.
Priyanka Mataji said she was going to read. I don't see her on the dashboard though.
Oh, then Shruti Priya Mataji.
Okay.
I love Shruti Priya Mataji's DT picture. Beautiful.
Okay, then Meera Mataji.
Oh,
she's there.
She's reading. Yeah. Shruti Priya is ready to read. I think she unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Ye tu dharmartaram idam yatoktam paryupashate shraddha dhanamat parama bhaktaste tiva me priya. Should I do the synonyms, Mataji?
I don't know. The person next in line. We normally do just a part each.
Okay.
So it depends on the mercy of the next person. I don't want to mess up with the reading schedule at all.
Indavali Mataji.
Oh, Meera Mataji.
Meera Mataji can read?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Give us the synonyms.
Synonyms, okay. Yeah, those who, tu, but, dharma of religion, amritam, nectar, idam, this, yatha, as, uktam, said, Pari upasate, completely engage. Shraddha, Shraddha Hana, with faith. Mat Parama, taking me, the Supreme Lord, as everything. Bhakta, devotee. Te, they. Ativa, very, very. Me, to me. Priya, dear. Hare Krishna. Should I read the translation as well?
Vindhyamali Mataji.
Go ahead and read. Okay. Go ahead and read translation. I'll read the purport. It's okay. No problem.
Okay, translation. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service and who completely engage themselves with faith, making me the supreme goal, are very, very dear to me. Hare Krishna, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. The purport. In this chapter, from verse 2 through the end, from Maya Veshya Mano Ye Mam, fix the mind on me through Yetu Dharmamritam Idam, this religion of internal engagement. The Supreme Lord has explained the process of transcendental service for approaching Him. Such processes are very dear to the Lord, and He accepts a person engaged in them. The question of who is better, one who is engaged in the path of impersonal Brahman, or one who is engaged in the personal service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was raised by Arjuna. What's happening? I'm getting resound, I don't know. Okay, where am I now? And the Lord replied to him so explicitly that there is no doubt that devotional service to the Personality of Godhead is the best of all processes of spiritual realization. In other words, in this chapter, it is decided that through good association, one develops attachment for pure devotional service and thereby accept a bona fide spiritual master, and from him begins to hear and chant and observe the regulative principles of devotional service with faith, attachment, and devotion, and thus becomes engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. This path is recommended in this chapter, therefore, there is no doubt that devotional service is the only absolute path of self-realization for the attachment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The impersonal conception of the Supreme Absolute Truth is, as described in the chapter, is recommended only up to the time one surrenders himself for self-realization. So, Tapa Mataji, you want to read?
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. In other words, as long as one does not have the chance to associate with the pure devotees, the
impersonal.
Sorry.
The impersonal conception.
In other words, as long as one does not have the chance to associate with a pure devotee, the impersonal conception may be beneficial. In the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, one works without fruitive result, meditates and cultivates knowledge to understand spirit and matter. This is necessary as long as one is not in the association of a pure devotee. Fortunately, if one develops directly a desire to engage in Krishna consciousness, his pure devotional service, he does not need to undergo step-by-step improvements in spiritual realization. Devotional service, as described in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad-gita, is more congenial. One need not bother about materials to keep body and soul together. because by the grace of the Lord, everything is carried out automatically. Thus, in the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 12th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad-gita in the matter of devotional service. Tat Sat.
There we go. Yeah, thank you so much for reading. I think we'll have to, this is the important words, we'll have to do that again next time. So maybe next time we'll take less of the reflections on 14 and then go deep to 12. And yeah, as a parting note, I just wanted to mention here that there, towards the end, they were talking about that it's okay in the beginning for you to have the impersonal concept and where you go around and you see that whether this is matter, this is spirit, and and use your brains to distinguish between them, and you go that route. But then he's saying that if you are in devotional service, you don't have to worry about that. And I'm just reminded of I was in my sister-in-law's place and her maid servant had come, and so both of them were, so it was Ekadashi or some such thing, and she was talking about how she fasts on every Ekadashi. I was stunned, that she's a completely illiterate woman, but she knows that she has to fast on Ekadashi. I mean, for her, these, they are so poor, right? They don't even get enough food to eat. So to keep Ekadashi fast and go and do the dishes in everybody's house, and where usually the lady of the house will give them something to eat, right? And that might be their only food that they eat that day. And to even give that up on Ekadashi day. So they have not read the Bhagavad-gita, they haven't read the Bhagavatam, they don't understand matter and the spirit. They are not thinking I'm under false ignorance and I'm thinking I'm this body. Well, they might think they are the body, but their devotional service is still there for the Lord, for Ekadashi they're doing, So can you imagine, where she will be born if she doesn't get liberated, where will she born, where she will be born in her next life, right? Chapter 6 tells us that. So that's what this verse is, Prabhupada is telling in the end. And also how he says that Krishna, like a good lawyer, right? A good lawyer, when he's submitting his case, doesn't leave any stone unturned. He'll go through all the law books and present a very nice speech so that other person cannot just say anything about that and argue, counter argue. Yeah. So thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, I'm not asking you to answer this at this point. Mataji, the thing is, you had told me that when you read when you learn the shloka, then you do the, translation along with reading shloka. Can you, once you explain it to me, and then I will be able, hopefully I'll be able to do it.
Explain what? This word? This verse? This one? Explain what?
Mataji, you had told me, no.
Your voice was broken.
Mataji,
I did not. Did anybody get
Mataji, you had told me to learn that shloka from the Samad.
Breaking.
Can you hear me now? I'll write to you, Mataji.
Krishna's arrangement. All righty. Thank you. Thank you so much, dear devotees watching us here. Neelam Mataji, Varshana Keshri Mataji, Vidyavadu Mataji, Himlata Mataji, Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank
you, Shraddha Mataji.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
So much.
The best hour of the day.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.